I found the alien queen, crying lonely at night. The reason left me stunned. Captain Sarah Chen had seen many strange things during her 5 years aboard the diplomatic vessel Harmony's Edge, but nothing had prepared her for this moment. The corridors of the Zephyrian mothership stretched endlessly in all directions, their crystalline walls pulsing with bioluminescent veins that cast dancing shadows across the polished floor. She had been granted unprecedented access to explore the vessel during the peace negotiations, a gesture of trust from a species that had been humanity's bitter enemy for 3 decades. The war had begun over a misunderstanding, as most wars do. First contact had gone disastrously wrong when human colonists had unknowingly established settlements on worlds the Zephyrians considered sacred burial grounds. What followed was a conflict that consumed entire star systems and claimed billions of lives on both sides. But now finally there was hope for peace. Sarah turned a corner and stopped dead in her tracks. There, in a vast observation chamber overlooking the swirling nebula beyond, sat the most powerful being in the known galaxy. Queen Zalarathes of the Zephyrian Empire was hunched over, her magnificent crystalline wings folded tightly against her back, her elongated form trembling with what could only be described as sobs. The sight was jarring. Sarah had only seen the queen during the formal negotiations, where she appeared as an imposing figure of authority, 12 feet tall, with skin that shimmered like liquid starlight and eyes that held the wisdom of millennia. But now, alone in the darkness, she seemed almost fragile. Sarah hesitated. Protocol dictated she should retreat immediately and pretend she had seen nothing. But something in the queen's posture, in the raw vulnerability of the moment, made her step forward instead. "Your Majesty?" Sarah's voice was barely above a whisper. Are you all right?" The queen's head snapped up, her luminous eyes widening in surprise. For a moment, Sarah thought she might be vaporized on the spot. Instead, the queen quickly wiped at her face with a gesture that was startlingly human-like. "Captain Chen." The queen's voice, usually commanding and melodic, now carried a tremor. I did not expect anyone to find me here. I'm sorry. I was just exploring. I can leave if you—" "No." The word came out sharper than intended, and the queen softened her tone. "No, please. Perhaps it would be good to speak with someone." Sarah approached cautiously, her boots echoing in the vast chamber. "May I ask what's troubling you? I know the negotiations have been difficult, but they seem to be progressing well." Queen Zalarathes let out a sound that might have been bitter laughter. "The negotiations, yes. Do you know what I was doing before you arrived, Captain?" "No, Your Majesty. I was reading reports from my historians, learning about your species." The queen gestured toward a holographic display that materialized in the air between them. "Do you know what they discovered about humans that has left me sitting here weeping in the darkness?" Sarah shook her head, genuinely confused. "Your music," the queen whispered. "My music? 3 decades of war, Captain. 30 years of death and destruction between our peoples. And in all that time, not once did we think to truly study human culture beyond your military capabilities." The queen's eyes seemed to glow brighter. "We saw you only as conquerors, as desecrators of sacred ground. We never looked deeper." The holographic display shifted, showing waveform patterns and spectral analyses. "My historians intercepted thousands of your transmissions during the war. Communications, data streams, entertainment broadcasts. They filed them away, considering them irrelevant to our military objectives. But last week, driven by curiosity about the species we were about to make peace with, one of them decided to analyze your artistic expressions." Sarah felt a chill run down her spine as understanding began to dawn. "Your lullabies, Captain." The queen's voice broke slightly. "Your funeral dirges, your love songs, your symphonies of joy and despair. 30 years of listening to you kill my people while simultaneously creating the most beautiful, emotionally complex music in the known galaxy." The display showed more patterns now. Spectrographic analyses of human voices raised in harmony, orchestras playing across radio waves, children singing in languages the Zephyrians had learned to translate only after the bloodshed had ended. "We pride ourselves on being an ancient, wise civilization," the Queen continued. "We have art, yes, we have culture, but nothing like what you create. The sheer emotional range, the complexity, the way you can convey the deepest pain and highest joy through arranged sound waves. It's beyond anything we ever imagined possible." Sarah sat down slowly on a nearby crystal formation, stunned into silence. "Do you understand what this means?" The Queen's voice was barely audible now. "We spent 3 decades fighting a species capable of creating beauty that transcends the physical realm. While we were planning orbital bombardments, your people were composing requiems for the very soldiers we were killing. Your war songs weren't celebrations of violence, they were mourning songs. Expressions of grief for lives lost, hopes for peace, prayers for forgiveness." The Queen stood and moved to the observation window, her reflection ghost-like in the transparent material. "I have listened to a recording of human children singing in a bunker during the siege of New Geneva. They were starving, terrified, facing death, and they sang lullabies to comfort each other. Not war cries, not hatred. Lullabies." Sarah felt tears welling in her own eyes. "Your Majesty, how can I return to my people and tell them what we've done?" The Queen's anguish was palpable. "How can I explain that we've been fighting angels who express their divinity through song? That every human ship we destroyed carried within it beings capable of creating heaven through mere vibrations in the air? We're not angels," Sarah said quietly. "We're just human. Music is how we process pain, how we find hope, how we connect with each other across the vast emptiness of space. It's not divine. It's desperately, beautifully mortal." The Queen turned back to her, and Sarah could see that her luminous tears were still flowing. Perhaps that's what makes it so powerful. Perhaps that's what makes it so precious. They stood in silence for a long moment, 2 beings from different worlds sharing a grief too profound for words. Finally, Sarah spoke. "Your Majesty, may I make a suggestion?" "Of course. When we sign the peace treaty tomorrow, perhaps it could include a cultural exchange program. Music, art, poetry, all of it. Let our peoples learn to see each other as more than just former enemies." For the first time since Sarah had found her, Queen Zilarathes smiled, an expression of such radiant hope that it lit up the entire observation chamber. "Yes," she whispered. "Yes, let us teach the galaxy to sing." As they walked back through the crystalline corridors together, Sarah couldn't help but think that sometimes the most profound peace comes not from treaties or negotiations, but from the simple recognition of shared beauty and the courage to weep for what we've lost while still daring to hope for what we might yet create together. The universe, it seemed, had been waiting for this harmony all along.